Hello, and welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be your host, the Irrelevant Nerd, and today we're going to be reviewing the Season 4 finale of... I can't believe this season is over already. Like, it really flew by, but what a season this turned out to be. I'm going to throw up the spoiler warning right now because we're just going to get right into it because there was a lot to cover in this episode. And this was a very just different type of finale than I was expecting. I feel like every finale we've had so far, seasons 1, 2, and 3, have all ended in a very brutal and action-filled way. And like this finale I don't even think it had a single fight scene. Like, it was completely character focused, and I loved it. And I think it was the right call after, if you look at the past 3 episodes of this season, very action heavy, really kind of gets all of that, like, gets all the fighting out of the way. And I think that this was the right call, and I like that it gets back to Earth so early in the episode. I was initially worried it was going to be basically them just traveling through space the whole episode, and then we'd get a few shots of Earth, and then, Mark would show up and he'd see the Earth, and then credits. But it gives us enough time on Earth to let the character moments breathe and really shows us where everyone is at after the Viltrumite War. And interestingly, they get there and the Viltrumites are nowhere to be seen. Nobody has any idea where they are, but they think it's good at least that they're not on Earth, but nobody seems to know where they are, including the coalition of planets. And Mark throughout this entire episode is dealing with just very obvious severe PTSD from really the start of the episode to the end. He keeps having visions of Thrag killing his loved ones. And admittedly, the first time that it happened, I believe it was with his mom. I actually thought it was really happening. Like, I thought Debbie was about to die, and I got really upset. But all turns out to be in his head, and you just see that Mark is going through it in this fight with Thrag and realizing how much more powerful Thrag is than anybody he's ever faced is just put this fear into Mark, and it's kind of crazy to see. And we see Nolan, he's continuing on his journey of self-improvement and self-reflection. He goes to, I believe it's near Everest, the spot where he nearly beat Mark to death at the end of season 1, and Cecil shows up. And I really enjoyed his interaction with Cecil in this scene, just because, one, it's fun to see him interact again after all this time. But you can see a lot of characters in the show, Alan, Thetis, even Mark to a certain extent, Oliver, they're all starting to accept that Nolan is actually changing. And I think even Debbie, in a way, agreeing to take the trip through space with Nolan, is they're accepting that he has changed and that he's a better person. But I think that this interaction with Cecil just kind of reminds the audience of where everyone else is outside of the group of main characters. Like, they don't see all the good that he's doing, and they're never gonna understand. And so I just like that tension between Earth and Nolan. And this journey that Nolan's been on, for me, has been one of the more captivating moments of the show. And then, like I'd said, Debbie had agreed to go with Nolan to see Oliver, make sure he was doing okay. And it turns out she had dumped Paul, which I was fine with. I didn't dislike Paul, but I never really liked his presence in the show. He was just kind of a boring dude, and I never thought he was going to be a good pair with Debbie. And so now that their relationship is over, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen between Debbie and Nolan going forward, especially like on this trip to see Nolan. They're going to be spending a lot of time together alone in space, and I even as upset as she is every time she sees Nolan, I think you can see that she is already starting to come around to wanting to like at least speak with him again. So very fascinated to see how that's going to go on their trip. Or I'm actually sure the next season will probably just start with them at Telescria already near Oliver, so we won't get to see the trip. But I'll be interested to see where they are. But I just like seeing where all of these characters and their headspace is at. And we get near the end of the episode and we finally get our, I mean, I guess it is our conflict of the episode, but it's like a non-violent conversation, I guess, between Thrag and Mark. I mean, when Mark first sees Thrag, he does throw a few punches, but it obviously doesn't do anything because Thrag at this point is just so much stronger than Mark. One thing that I did like when Mark tries to punch him, because he gets like 3 or 4 punches in, is that you see that he's already stronger than the last time that he fought Thrag, because the first time he fought Thrag, punching him actually hurt him quite a bit, and this time he punches him, doesn't seem to affect him at all. Like, it doesn't hurt Thrag in any way, but Mark is not getting hurt, and so I just, like, throughout the entire show, you can just slowly see him getting stronger. But they end up having this conversation, and basically Thrag explains that, yes, even though they can't find them, all the Viltrumites are on Earth, basically in hiding to build their numbers. They've completely integrated into Earth society. They wear Earth people clothes, and they're not going to hurt anyone as long as they are completely left alone to do what they want to do, rebuild their numbers. And if Mark doesn't keep them secret, basically both sides try to kill each other. Everybody loses, so he kind of offers this as a deal to Mark: let us stay and do what we're going to do, or mutually assured destruction for both sides. And Mark does accept the terms. And I mean, what else in this situation, really, what else is Mark supposed to do? He knows that Thrag is much stronger than him, and even if they could take out all the Viltrumites, even in a semi-quick manner, they could still destroy such a big chunk of the planet. And so it's, really, what else are you supposed to do? Because there's also the possibility that if you say no, Thrag is just going to rip you in half, like in the sky right there. So I'll be very interested to see how that plays out. Like, what are the Viltrumites going to do on Earth? Like, I am vaguely aware of pretty much the overall Invincible story from the comics, but some of the details I haven't heard, and so I want to know. And I find this very interesting when you pair it with like the right before the credit scene where you have Thetis leaving it like a video message for Alan just in case of his death, basically telling Alan to use the perfected Scourge virus to kill the rest of the Viltrumites, including Mark, Oliver, Nolan. But he does say that this new version is so powerful that it might kill anybody with like a similar genetic makeup, which would be the humans. Because we've seen that Nolan created Mark, this Viltrumite hybrid, easily the strongest Viltrumite hybrid that they've ever created. But yeah, he says it can potentially kill the entire planet. And what are you going to do? Because the Viltrumites clearly need to be stopped, and you can't come out and directly fight them on Earth, from Mark's perspective, because the whole planet's just going to end up being destroyed. And so what is going to happen when Alan finds out the Viltrumites are on Earth? Like, are he and Mark going to fight? How is Oliver going to respond? Because Oliver is on Telescria with Alan right now, and he's going to recover there. So how is Nolan going to feel? I'm just very interested to see how they're going to move forward with this virus, with them being on Earth and humans potentially also being affected. Just I think this season did a really good job of moving the story forward, getting us to and through the Viltrumite War, which I thought was very enjoyable. And this finale just sets up so much anticipation for the next season, just to see what is going to happen with all of these circumstances. So I thought this was a great ending. It's satisfying to wrap up this season. It does a good job getting you excited for the next season. I think, as far as the finales go, I'm going to give this, I don't know, it's like a 9.8 out of 10 for me. There were just, I would have maybe liked just a little action, and that's kind of what holds it back. But I do think this was the right call for the type of finale that they should have gone with. But 9.8 out of 10 for this episode. I would say the entire season, probably a 9.7 out of 10, with just really the Hell episode is what's pulling it back. And again, I didn't dislike that episode as much as a lot of other people seem to, but very, very strong season. Could potentially be my favorite. I'm not sure exactly how I'd rank all 4 seasons yet. I'd have to think on it, but this one was definitely not my least favorite. I thought it was fantastic from start to finish. Loved it, and I absolutely cannot wait for season 5, even though I know we're going to be waiting at least a year for the next season, and it's going to be a long year. But of course, these are just my thoughts. I would love to know yours down below, and not just on the finale. What did you think of the season as a whole now that we have it in there? And the spoiler warning is up on all of these videos, so if you do decide to comment, feel free to spoiler away in the comments, but I would really, really love to know what you think. I do have some more videos that I'm working on that I'll have up for you very soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.